What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to give you guys my review on Sword of the Sea. This is a game that I genuinely believe is one of the best games to come out this year. I'm not so much surprised by it as I am pleasantly just happy that it turned out this way. You know, as we were getting closer to this game coming out, I could sense something in this. I mean, look, you look at Giant Squid as the developers, right? And they really don't miss. You can have like your favorites and least favorites with, Abzu and the Pathless. And remember, some of them actually go all the way back to Journey, right? And Journey is one of, I think, the all-time greats. The thing is, you're playing around, I think, in this kind of playground, right? If you liked Journey, if you like Abzu, if you like the Pathless, you're gonna love Sword of the Sea, okay? If you're not into those games, the game is just probably not for you. But truly, and this is just, again, like kind of the opening of this video here, do not let this game pass you by. I know there's a lot of games coming out, and I know this is a smaller game, but I mean, it's on PS Plus. You can also buy it. It's not very expensive. Give it a try. It's a short game. I actually completed it in 2 hours and 34 minutes, but let me talk about it a little bit. And also, there is replayability that I think is really cool in this game that I didn't really expect going into it, all right? So sit back and relax, and please, after this video is done, go play this game, because it really is a masterpiece. I mean, the first thing you have to, I think, talk about with a game like this is the visuals, okay? The game is unbelievably beautiful. There's always going to be something special about Journey. It's always going to, it started the look. It started the look of really all of these games, right? And, I've always said, like, Journey was, I mean, it had, like, the deserty, that kind of vibe to it. Abzu was, like, the water stuff, okay? And then the Pathless was a lot about movement. This game combines all of them into, again, I think just below Journey. If I were to rank these, Journey has to kind of be number one. Like, it's set how we think of these games. But this game is so freaking close and right underneath it. Because if you just talk about the visuals, it's got the sand, it's got the waves, and it's got this really nice mechanic where you're basically changing things from dry to wet. And, a thing that I think all of these games do really well, I think, again, Journey probably does it the best, but this game does it insanely well, is telling a story through context clues, just kind of looking around. And look, there's like tombstones where you can kind of read some of the lore that's going on. And this game has like a beautifully well done, I should say. I don't know if it's necessarily beautiful. It's kind of like a war was going on. I don't want to get too deep into it because it starts to involve the characters, and I don't really want to go there in terms of spoilers. I would say play it, just for that alone, because, you're probably playing it for that kind of like tranquil experience, and that's cool. You could be playing it for the movement, the gameplay, that's cool. But honestly, buried in it, and I don't even think it's buried all that deep, is a really engaging story. Like, you're reading things and then you're starting to think, okay, well, how does this connect to the environment that's around me right now? Or wait a second, is this character this? Or how do our characters kind of relate to that? It gets really interesting. And honestly, I beat it, and then I started again in New Game Plus, and I forgot, in just 2.5 hours, I forgot the opening. And after doing all that, it made so much sense, like going through it, beating it. And I kind of had a question in my head. I was like, oh my dear God, they just did that. And then I did the New Game Plus, and I see the beginning, and I say, oh, okay. I mean, it's this really nice way of kind of connecting these puzzle pieces. And look, sometimes I like my handheld. In fact, most times with story games, I like my handheld. For whatever reason, games that are made specifically by them, okay, or even going back to Journey with that game company, they know how to do it. Like, I can, it's a little bit distant where it's not being shoved right in your face. Like, you have to kind of think a little bit about what's going on and who these people are and what the lore is. But I mean, it does it, I think, so organically, and it has cutscenes. It has moments that are just, on rails. You put the controller down, you kind of just watch. And may I just say, again, without spoiling that stuff either, unbelievably beautiful. So freaking good. Whether it's the visuals, whether it's some of the fights, let's say, that happen. I mean, it's so hard because it's a 2.5 hour game. It's hard to show you, and it's hard to talk about some of, I would say, the cooler things that this game has. And I don't really want to spoil it. I really don't want to tell you, because I hope you just trust me, you just play it. I'll tell you this. the stuff that you saw in the trailers leading up to this game, which, by the way, there was only like 2 or 3 trailers, okay? There was maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes of footage for this game before it came out. That footage is from like the opening 40 minutes. There are other environments that are so good, so good, whether it's the gameplay mechanics they introduce or whether it's just how they look. But I'll give you this. Again, this idea of you have kind of this dry stuff, and then you use the sword to kind of unlock, say, the water element of it. And that's the blend right there, because, when you're surfing on these sand waves, I think Journey immediately. But then when you change it to water, well, I think Abzu, and then my jaw is dropping constantly of just how good it is. This game likes to flex on you and likes to put you in, and again, like all of these games have done it, right? Kind of where the camera pulls back and it just lets you maybe say drift down a mountain, right? And you're able to kind of move your character, left and right and whatnot. But it's meant to be like this cinematic moment. This game does it all the time, and it's never looked better just because of, modern technology. It looks so good, whether it's sand, whether it's water, whether it's other things that I won't say that this game introduces, other elements, let's say. So good just to look at. The music, may I just say, and I don't really talk about music, I think, as much as I should in my reviews. I'm going to try to get better at that. This is my favorite soundtrack of the year. I'm going to go that far, and let me tell you something, okay? This was the year of Expedition 33. I love Expedition 33. I actually think this one beats it. This is the same composer, I believe, that's been with them the entire time. He did Journey, he did Abzu, he did The Pathless, and now he did this. This guy's a legend, okay? And this guy has been making music for small games like this for a long time, and he deserves every award humanly possible. But I'm going to be very direct on that. Like, the visuals should honestly win an award. In terms of it being like an indie type thing, that should win an award. But the music, the soundtrack is so good, and it's so powerful. And that's the thing that gets me, is powerful. Expedition 33 is also powerful. They're neck and neck. But I really am going to give it to this game. I really think Sword of the Sea has the best just music that I've heard in a game, and that it makes you feel like you're a part of this world, and it just, I don't know, it hits you with different emotions than most game soundtracks do, okay? So I'm going to give it that 100%. Honestly, the gameplay, which is the last thing, I haven't talked about that yet. It's the only thing I don't think I talked about. The gameplay is really good, okay? Now, look, here's the thing. I saw leading into it people saying, well, the tricks are not so complex. The tricks aren't supposed to be complex. This is not Tony Hawk. You want to play Tony Hawk, go play Tony Hawk. This is a game that, I'll tell you, it took me a while. It's going to be actually kind of tough for me to find footage for you guys here, because I would say I got really good at tricks the last hour. And the thing is, the last hour is a lot of spoiler stuff. But they give you a lot of tools to have fun when you're going on that adventure. And that's the MO of this company. That's the MO of Journey all the way through to this game, right? They're trying to tell you this very tranquil, cinematic experience told in just a very different way than most games would do it, right? A lot of it's through visuals, a lot of it's through sound, a lot of it's through, and you have to do all of it, by the way, without talking. Nobody talks, as always, with these games. So you're doing a lot, but you have to move. Okay, you have to get from point A to point B. This is probably the best one. Like, they all move pretty well. The Pathless definitely introduced kind of like a more faster, nature type thing. But this really feels like Journey if it was made now, and then they wanted to add, I guess, maybe like a little Tony Hawk style in it, because, okay, the game, I believe secretly behind the scenes, actually keeps track of what you're doing. And it actually is giving you points. When you beat this game, it gives you a score. And there's actually a trophy in this game for beating your own score, going through it again and beating it. When you replay the game, there's actually counters that you can turn on and off, where you can see minute to minute every skill or every trick that you're doing, and you'll see the points tally up. And that's, again, going on the first time you're playing, but you just don't see it. Second time, it actually keeps like how fast you're going. It tells you your speed, and it also tells you how many points you have. And so, I think that really pushes, like, again, is doing tricks on your sword the most important part of this game? Honestly, no, but it's something that's really, really fun kind of when you're in it. A lot of this game is, okay, you're in this area, go around and just kind of have fun, look around, like just embrace how good it all is. But also, there's a couple different objectives. You have to go around, you have to activate a couple levers and things like that. While you're doing that, you can do tricks to your heart's content, right? And I think there's also a trophy for beating the game in under 2 hours. So there's an incentive to rush it if you want to do that. There's an incentive to take 6 hours and get the highest score of anyone that's ever played this game, right? By just doing tricks nonstop. And I mean, it's almost an afterthought. I think, when I was playing it, I was thinking, again, what people were saying, like, the tricks aren't that complex. Honestly, they're just complex enough. It's hard to actually get like a 10-trick combo in this game. Not too hard, but not too easy. And honestly, again, tricks aren't even like, I guess depending on what you're going in for, but if you've played Journey through this game, the chances are you're not going into this like trying to be Tony Hawk. You're trying to experience like the game, and the tricks are kind of just like an add-on, like a nice little cherry on top, right? And I mean, I think that's what makes this game so special, is think about everything you've loved about any of their past games. Think about the strengths of any of Giant Squid and then that game company, any of the strengths of their games, okay? It's all in here. Some of it's done better than ever before, okay? Some of it maybe doesn't live up to, I would say, again, like the structure of the story we've kind of seen before. Journey kind of started it, and it does tend to stay relative. Like I predicted, there's some major things that happen, let's say, in the story. I predicted each one because it does follow. Like if you play these games, you do kind of know. But I mean, it doesn't take away from it because it's still such a beautiful, beautiful game, from the visuals to the music, the gameplay, how it makes you feel. It's one of the most, tranquil feelings in games, but also it's just a freaking fantastic game. Like forget, it just being a tranquil thing. You could kind of have it on in the background. You need to play it. Okay, this is a game that deserves to be played, and I feel very passionate about that. Okay, so if you trust me, if you think that I sometimes have good gaming takes, which I try to, trust me on this. Okay, this game is 1,000% worth playing, and I mean, if you have PS Plus, there is zero excuse. Everybody should be trying this game, and it's only going to take you one night. If you play this game 3 hours, you're going to beat it, after those 3 hours. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.